Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for the 7th of April 2021, night one of the Stand and Deliver Takeover series. There is one pre-show match. Zoe Stark defeats Tori Storm. Not necessarily sure I agree with this because Storm's supposed to be something big in the UK brand and isn't here. Stark upset Storm via pinfall in what wasn't a bad match. They did work hard. Live crowd makes it a little more dramatic than things have been in the last year. They trade a bunch of headlocks and other, I guess you'd say, defensive moves. Stark on offense. Storm is reeling until she cuts her off. Storm grounds her and begins working her over. Stark hits a suplex or a superplex, and things kind of tend to go her way. Strikes and counters, very good match, both pretty even. Stark hits suplex and a running knee for near fall. Storm hits with a sit out face buster for near fall, and Stark counters Storm's finisher and nails Storm with a kick. Storm hits a series of German suplex and goes for the Storm Zero. Stark counters into the inside cradle and manages to beat her for an upset. Can't be good for Tori Storm if that's the way they're going. Samoa Joe does interviews with Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai, who are in the main event. Then the main card opens with a instrumental version of the Star Spangled Banner. Pete Dunne and Kushida opens the main show. Dunne pins Kushida in a decent match. Ultimately, really good to see. It's the counter wrestling you would expect. Almost reminds me, in some ways, of Zack Sabre Jr. and the best Kushida has looked in the area. They battle over submission holds. Grappling continues, and neither guy gets clear control for the first several minutes. Dunne does a bunch of joint manipulation and catches Kushida on a handspring. Dunne gives him an X-Plex on the apron that looked pretty brutal. They start to brawl, both guys getting frustrated, and the fight spills to the ramps, and Dunne snaps Kushida's fingers. Kushida answers back with a Fisherman Buster into a small package. Then they both go for cross arm breakers. They trade a bunch of strikes, neither guy getting a clear advantage. They are pretty even, and I would imagine they have future matches, and things continue to get better. They fight on turnbuckles, and Kushida hits a flip off the top into the hoverboard lock. Dunne escapes. Kushida follows up with another hold. Kushida hits a flying knee drop on Dunne's elbow. Ouch. Back to the hoverboard lock. Dunne escapes a second time. Targets the fingers. Kushida goes for his punch and sold his own hand as though he couldn't do it. Dunne executes the bitter ending, covers Kushida for the pinfall win. Right guy won here, but this was really well done. Bronson Reed wins the Gauntlet Eliminator. Reed earns a title shot at Johnny Gargano. Match was fine. I don't really like these multi-person matches, but I understand it's Mania week and they're trying to get everyone in on the show they can. Leon Ruff crawls onto the ramp. Swerve Scott's close behind and attacked Ruff before he even went out there. Ruff and Scott brawl around. Waste of Scott, who was gaining momentum but is backward because of the Ruff thing. They get in the ring. Then Scott gets heat on Ruff. Ruff comes back and spins into the announce desk into a cutter on the floor. Ouch. Scott soon cut Ruff off. They fight on the turnbuckles. Ruff sends Scott flying with a Super Frankensteiner. Bronson Reed comes in the match. Ruff hits a crossbody on Reed. Reed catches him and sends him back into the ring. Reed cleans house, bunch of power moves, and then he set off on Ruff. Three-way German suplex spot with Reed suplexing Scott while Scott is suplexing Ruff. I hate these choreographed spots, but for the sake of Bronson Reed, who it looks like they're going to push, there seems to be some excitement there, and it looked good for what it was. Ruff is taking all kinds of huge bumps, including an exploder into the corner. He obviously is the first eliminated after taking so much punishment. LA Knight cuts promo. He takes advantage of Reed being down and kicks him on the way to the ring. Reed makes a comeback on everybody. Loomis was eliminated. Knight catches him with a pinfall. Loomis comes in and isn't here very long. Hopefully they repackage the guy because this gimmick just doesn't work. Reed's eliminated via Knight pinfall. Loomis grabs Knight, puts him to sleep. Reed, Grimes, and Scott are the last three remaining. Scott eliminates Grimes after reversing an O'Connor roll into Gravitites, and Scott and Reed are the final two. Reed takes a Death Valley driver on the apron. Ouch. And then Scott hits a 450 splash near fall. Reed kicks out. And Reed powerbombs Scott and hits an air raid crash. Reed finishes the match with the tsunami off the top and the deciding pinfall. I think the Gargano and Reed match is tomorrow, although I'm not 100% sure on that. NXT United Kingdom Championship match. Walter defeats Tommaso Ciampa to retain the title. This was probably match of the night on either show. Walter and Ciampa have a heck of a brawl. I would even say this might have a shot at being match of the weekend if you like slobber knocker type stuff. Ciampa is a guy that I respect because he's a friend of mine, but also just super, super crisp. Walter takes a bit of punishment in the early moments of the match, but when he awakes, he's willing to strike Ciampa down. Several chops, pummels him at ringside, and Ciampa ducks a chop, and he almost, that is Walter, basically nails the desk and could have easily broken it with his bare hands. Ciampa in the ring blocks a second chop. Can't lift Walter though. Ciampa targets the hand. Walter nails a big boot to the face when he realizes that he's having his hand attacked. Walter grounds Ciampa on the mat. Walter hits a second boot to the face, punishes him. Walter is amazing because he sells the hand basically for the rest of the match pretty much. Ciampa fought back, hits lariats, but he's unable to knock Walter off his feet. Ciampa hits Walter a bunch of times with probably half a dozen lariats, if not more, and finally knocks him down. Ciampa follows up with an aerial crash for near fall. Walter hits a backdrop for 2 count and comes back with the Devil's Wings for another near fall. Walter catches Ciampa with a sleeper. Ciampa uses the injured hand of Walter to break the hold. Suplex by Walter and hits Ciampa with a huge lariat, which he kicks out of. Probably shouldn't have. Ciampa counters Walter to apply a Fujiwara armbar. Walter seems to be in trouble as Ciampa stomps away at him, and Walter continues to counter, and he clubs Ciampa with a good hard shot, and they fight on the top turnbuckle. Ciampa gives Walter an avalanche air raid crash. Ouch. Trade of chops. Walter targets the neck twice and power bombs Ciampa. Ciampa manages to kick out. Sleeper suplex by Walter. Follows up with a knife edge chop, and he takes Ciampa out. MSK, Wesley, and Nash Carter defeat Grizzled Young Veteran James Drake and Zach Gibson and Legado de Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza triple threat match to win the tag team championships. I guess it's good they had them here. I'm not necessarily sure they're ready to become the champs. Match was almost too many spots. everybody works hard, but you're not going to get blow by blow here because it was too much. Basically, it's a three-way match the whole time, so triple threat, one member of each team in at all time. Partners can tag in on the apron as seen fit. Vets slow things down. MSK fires back with an all-flying comeback. Wild does a dive to the outside. Legado de Fantasma hit the double coast to coast at one point. Fantasma's control throughout the commercial on taking down Carter. Hot tag to Lee. Fans are nuts. Everybody gets involved in this. Vets smash Lee's hand into the turnbuckle. Bad night for hands, I guess. Lee's trapped in an armbar by Gibson. Carter goes to make the save, but it's put to sleep by Drake. Phantasma runs in and hits several regular double team moves. MSK take out Legado de Fantasma, and match comes down to MSK against the Vets. All four head into the finish. Carter hits a double cutter on the Vets. MSK execute Doomsday Blockbuster device, and Gibson takes the pinfall. The main event and the match that is one of the closest things I wanted to see. Raquel Gonzalez defeats NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai and wins the championship. Gonzalez pins the champ in maybe not, the greatest match on the show, but you can tell Gonzalez could be a star. Shirai uses quickness to outwit Gonzalez early. Shirai hits a dive to the outside during the early stages. Dakota Kai is in the corner of her friend Gonzalez. Kai gets thrown out of the match early because she's threatening to interfere. Kai does interfere. Referee throws her out. Distraction allows Gonzalez to get a cutoff on Shirai. Gonzalez then uses a bunch of power moves, but Shirai, with a bunch of back and forth, Gonzalez works over Shirai and applies a gory special. Amazingly, Shirai comes back, mounts a comeback, and Shirai hits the Tiger Fake kick and a missile drop kick near fall there. Shirai counters into a power move, catches Gonzalez in a crossface. Shirai comes off the top with a moonsault onto the ramp, which was just insane. Follows up by hitting Gonzalez with double knee strike. And then Shirai climbs on top of a skull that's part of the ramp. Shirai leaps off into a mega plancher on the ramp. And then Shirai hits her signature moonsault press, but Gonzalez kicks out. Gonzalez cuts her off again and fires up. Does Shirai. Gonzalez is too powerful and hits a one-arm powerbomb and then gets the pinfall. Good way to close the show. Probably the best night of face-to-face action in terms of NXT versus AEW in a long while. Sad that it's going to be the last time they go head-to-head, at least for the time being. But both shows worth checking out. I know there's a lot of wrestling this week, probably too much. But both of these shows worth checking out in your WrestleMania week festivities. We'll be back with more right after this.